Come and join our Skool community using the link below. We've put everything in one place, including the streaming platform shows. Bare knuckle boxing carries a vicious and brutal stigma.
Whether traditional dating or modern dating is the right thing to do.
Like, my entire perception of myself changed when I had the knowledge that I was going to go bald.
I think for men, one of the biggest insecurities is their hair.
So what you tend to notice is that both partners need to work in order to make ends meet.
Eventually led to the comeback.
I'm going to twist again. I'm going to go to the next level.
Yep. So I went a bit wild for like 2-3 years.
Comes easy. You can talk to anybody, and then you have your base. You have your like kind of baseline volume. So I don't talk much lower than this now. As you just saw, one-to-one calls, live group calls twice per week. Take yourself from last man to first man and unlock more and more benefits with each passing week. It'll also be the official home of the 1M podcast moving forward. With 1M House, we have a dedicated filming location to make this happen. Additionally, all the courses and future courses are included. All the old videos from YouTube. I'll see you there. Enjoy the video. So, framing 101. This is what I want to start with. Same but different. I want to try and educate you guys on style. I want to educate you guys on what it actually means to look a certain way, to, you know, have the exact same photo, the exact same setup. 2-3 guys can do the same thing, but it's entirely different and it has a completely different effect. Okay, so we're going to start with this. And this is what's great, is this is Jeff Logan. If you don't know who Jeff Logan is, watch that video I put in the chat earlier, because it's one of the most motivating videos you will ever watch in your life. But here we've got 3 pictures of Jeff, this is what makes this so good, is there's 3 pictures of Jeff, pretty much in the same scenario with the same dog. Not too dissimilar outfits, but the vibe is completely different. And on the left-hand side, you've got tough guy Jeff. I think all of you guys will agree on the left, it's not really optimal. I don't think it really hits home too well. I think having 2 pit bulls and kind of standing there like a tough guy, I just don't think it really does him any favors. I don't think that's very good live setup and framing. The one in the middle, in my opinion, it's too try hard. I think there's something about having the car directly behind you. I think with the dog, the way he stood, I think it's too, I'm trying to do a GTA thing. And now on the right hand side, it's very natural and high level. I don't know if you guys agree, but I think the picture on the right hits home so much harder than the other 2.
Yeah.
Well, this is the key to live setup and framing, because other people can see through it, number 1. And number 2, women can see straight through it. Women will literally look at the 2 pictures on the left and be like, he's created them to show off. And there's a couple keys which we'll go through, but looking at the camera is a big no-no. If you're looking at the camera, it just never works, okay? That's something you just can't do. Number 2, it needs to be an organic shot. It needs to feel as though it was part of your life. And we'll get to that at the end. I've almost designed like an entire Instagram feed. Do you know what else I think hits hard? I think the outfit, I think where it's all black and then a little spice of orange. I think it matches the red brick and having the white snow. And there's, you know, here you could be in Dubai on a rooftop. You could be showing off, you know, stuff like that. Here you could be on a beach with your abs out. But I just think there's something about this, like, really natural. Like, I'm in the snow, I'm walking my dog. This, like, red brick house, the old London lamp and stuff like that. I think that old school gentleman, it just hits home. Like, people can't match this. People can't pull this off. This is why it's a skill. Anybody can do the 2 on the left. Anybody can stand there and look tough with 2 dogs. Anybody can stand in front of their car with a dog with some shades on. You can't pull off on the right-hand side. That looks like a magazine cover. That's really impressive. And you only get that from natural. And the difference is the 2 pictures on the left are definitely taken by somebody with a phone. The picture on the right is definitely somebody taking that with a camera, or at least somebody professional. I would be shocked if the 2 on the left weren't taken by like his girlfriend or his friends. And then the one on the right-hand side is very much a photographer that knows angles, knows how to get things in place. And this is why it's so important for you guys, I think at least twice per year, to to hire a videographer, to hire a photographer. I think twice per year. I think it can just do so much damage for your life. I think you end up getting photos for summer, you end up getting photos for winter. Maybe you're more a winter guy. That's more my style. That, you know, maybe it fits your brand more, which we'll get to in a minute with Tommy Shelby and Cillian Murphy and the difference. But, you know, twice per year, I just think because that's within budget, I think you should just hire a photographer, videographer, map out some outfits, sit down with them first and put something together. I think, look at the difference it makes. You know, you got tough guy, try hard, or natural and high level. And the natural and high level will put your brand to a level that you could never imagine. Is it the fact, Jeff Logan on the right, is it the fact that, there's a dog in a car? Well, no, because I think Tristan looks great. I don't know what you guys think, but I think the fact that the car's side on, the fact Tristan's not looking at the camera, the fact he's not holding the dog in like an aggressive way and it's just following him, the way he's holding his drink, the way it looks as though it could be natural. Now, is it a photo shoot? Is it staged? 100%. But I think you guys will agree it's pretty much the same shot, but entirely different. What's everyone's thoughts on that? Yeah, it's just having that on the right hand side with Jeff, like he's posing. That's what he's doing. Tristan, he could actually be walking out of his house with his dog. It's plausible, and this is what you guys need to try and achieve because anytime you do a pose, it's see through. It's like the worst picture in the world. I think is a kid who's like or a guy who's like 25 years old. The older you are, the worse it is. But let's say a guy is 25 years old. He's gone to Marbella for the weekend and he sees a red Ferrari and he goes, "Oh, get a picture of me." And he stands in front of it like that and somebody takes a picture of him. I think that is the worst thing you can do. And it kind of has vibes of that on the right hand side with Jeff Logan. On the left, it just looks like Tristan's living his life and somebody's taking a picture of him. The level of importance change is enormous. It makes such a difference. Now, is Tristan perfect? No, I think there's a massive difference here as well. I think on the left-hand side, you guys can see Tristan staring at the camera, he's staring down the lens. That's not a good look. I think anytime you're looking at the camera, it just doesn't look good. I think it's very do you know what it does? It shows people that you go, I know what's going on. I know there's a picture being taken. I was aware and I posted it. Whereas I think when you're not looking, it almost says, number one, I don't care, but there's somebody posting these pictures for me. I think it almost shows that you might actually have a social media manager that's doing this for you. Somebody's taking pictures and uploading them. And that changes the dynamic entirely. Whereas when you're looking at the camera, it's not great. Now, is it the fact he's smoking a cigar and he's got a watch? No, because on the right hand side, he's smoking a cigar and he's got a watch. But on the right hand side, I think you guys again would agree the live setup, the framing, it just looks gangster as fuck on the right. Do you know what I mean? On the left hand side, I just don't think it looks very good. I don't know. Again, does anybody want to chime in? I don't know what you guys think, but I think on the right hand side, it's 10 times more professional. I think it just creates like mob boss image. And on the left hand side, it could just be a guy on holiday in Eastern Europe. Do you know what I mean? Trying to show off with a cigar. What do you guys think? Yeah, well, you hit a nail on the head there that, that's something that's really important for you guys too. And we'll get to this at the end. You need to know who you are. You need to know what you're after. You need to know what you want to accomplish because, I think Tristan's image does suit better on the right. I think my personal image, bald head, beard, stuff like that, it would suit better on the right. That kind of gray tone, cold. We'll get to this in a minute with Cillian Murphy. You guys will see what I'm talking about. So avoid the basic mistakes. I hope none of you have got photos like this. I hope and pray none of you have got photos like this because this is just not it. This is not the one. I've had photos like this in the past when I was young, and they are just shocking. You use anything where you're like leaning, you're in with the boys and whatnot, and I mean the outfits are terrible, but you just don't want to be doing this where you're drunk, you're kind of giving it all of that, you're pointing at your friends, anything like that. Group photos with the lads, just don't do them unless. I mean, the only exception is if it's like a dream team, like you see like Messi, Beckham, and Tom Brady all stood next to each other, but it's not like they're getting drunk, they're well dressed and stuff like that. It can be different. But these sort of night out group photos with the boys, if somebody's taking a big photo, just be like, I'm going to avoid this one because somebody will post it. Now, it doesn't have to be on your feed, but it's going to be out there in the world and people are going to see it. So just be like, no, 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 no. I always do that. But if you are forced into a photo like this, just remember your body language has to be on point. You can't be, like hands in front of your balls. You can't let somebody put their arm around you and stuff like that. Otherwise, it just makes you look super low level. So be careful, guys, but please avoid photos like this, okay? The prime example. This is my bugger that I hate stuff like this. This is the worst thing on the planet, right? So it's two guys with a Ferrari and they're taking a picture with the Ferrari. But why is there such a major difference? Well, even though this is posy, because you wouldn't really ever sit like that unless if he was getting out, getting in, but I get it, you have to get it for the photo. Even though this is posy, this looks really good. And personally, I wouldn't post something like this, but it shows the example for you guys. Personally, I would have now red works because red Ferrari is like a whole thing. It's like an image. It has this thing, so it actually works. It's one of the only fail-safe bright colors that can actually pay off. If you had like if you had like a if you had like a red Lamborghini, yellow Lamborghini, it doesn't work the same, but a red Ferrari some reason does work because of the connotation with Ferrari. Personally, I wouldn't post something like this, but I do think it's a great photo. I just think this is too, people know what you were doing. I would do it from a different angle if it was like a quick little video of you getting out of your Ferrari and walking into a restaurant with a beautiful woman, like very natural, classy, having a laugh with the guys on the door, like the bouncers. You know, if it was a picture of you two, like, I don't know, maybe it's a picture of you like getting out your car, she's already got out, she's waiting for you, or you're opening the door for her, like that bangs. That's what I would do actually. I would pull up so that she had to get out, or frame it so that she had to get out the car. I've opened the door for her. I'm stood there looking great, and she's getting out of the car. Like I would maybe do a video like that. And then you walk towards the door or something, you're like shaking hands with the guys, and then it just looks completely different to just posy. But this here, this is terrible. This is what I'm talking about in Marbella and places like LA, whatever. Guys will see a car and like you're looking at this right now, and I'm thinking, this is definitely his car. This is definitely not his car. And even if it is his car, it looks shit. Do you remember those gold digger pranks where guys would like stand next to a car like that? The reason they like didn't really work is because the girls would look and be like, well, he's just posing next to a car. I don't even know if it's his. And they had to fake them in the end, the gold digger pranks. But even if it is his, oh, he's just stood next to his car trying to show off. Like it just looks, it's a dick move. You're going to attract a certain type of personnel. Like, why would you ever stand like this next to a car unless you're trying to get attention? And that's what a big part of this is. Girls don't like, and people in general don't like, but girls in general don't like thirsty guys. They don't like attention seekers. They want guys who, you know, maybe he's got a nice car, maybe he shows up like this, maybe he just gets out, thinks nothing of it, locks it, and walks straight to the door. That has a 10 times impact compared to like, I'm going to stand and get a photo with it. I mean, the outfit isn't congruent with the car as it is. Now, you might think, oh, it's just because the guy is handsome and whatnot. Same thing. Here he is again. Like this is the same thing, right? Here versus this, it's the same guy wearing the same suit. It's just slightly different light, and it's from the same photo shoot and whatnot. It's a bit blurry because I had to expand it, but this looks like shit. Next up, Dan Bilzerian. So this is Dan Bilzerian in the early days, and a lot of people don't know this about Dan, but Dan was 32, 33 years old. I think it was more 33 before his first post went viral and he became who he is today. You'll see on the next one, but it's hard to explain. You got the beautiful woman, you got the cash, you got like this should go viral. Yeah, maybe it went viral in 2010. It doesn't go viral anymore. It's like, look how much cash I've got. Look at the woman. We're both looking at the camera. The suit is very on the nose as well. You know, it's not very relaxed. It's very, I'm trying to be a certain way. And I don't think Dan understood the game back then. I think this is too on the nail, and that's why he wasn't really going viral. Now this is Dan. And I think you guys will notice one thing straight away. Not looking at the camera, 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 not looking at the camera. Right. And this is why Dan ended up going viral because as crazy as it sounds, this is his actual life. This is him. Like you can see he's actually doing something, he's preoccupied. And you know, looking at this, you'd go, he's jacked, but he's not trying to show us that he's jacked. He's actually covering his body up. She's got a great body and a great ass, but she's not posing. They're in a beautiful location, but they're not making a meal of it. They're obviously on a boat somewhere. This is really cool. He's obviously sleeping with her, but he's not saying any of that. You know, it's almost just like I told you guys before, like people can figure stuff out for themselves, and that's the best way to do it, especially with women, is not to tell them, not to go, oh, by the way, I'm a multi-millionaire. Like the best way is that she goes, do you know what? You travel a lot. You must make a lot of money. And you're like, hey, look, business is good and business allows me to travel a lot. I've got clients all around the world. She'll figure out, oh, fuck, this guy's minted. This guy's got loads of money. You don't need to go, by the way, I'm a millionaire and I travel a lot. Like, this is what so many guys get wrong. And they translate that through their images. They're like, okay, I've made a bit of money. Let me get a watch. Let me pose. Let me sit there like that. Yes, I mean, my DMs are going to be full of women. And they're not. And they just go, oh, but like, how is it? Why not? I don't understand it. Like, I looked handsome. I put a filter on it. I was sat there with a 20 grand watch. Like she should know that like I'm the guy, I'm the man. But they look at that as like insecure, try hard, it's too much. And Dan Bilzerian figured this out. Now Tate's plan. I just want to break this down for you guys, right? So this is one thing you need to do in life is this is more life setup that can then bring the framing. And this is because this is a massive part of Instagram because if you want to achieve the framing, you want to achieve a cool Instagram, like a lot of people have said to me in previous videos, you need money. You need a shit ton of money to be able to pull it off, or at least you need a good amount of income coming in so that you can be free. You can hire the videographers. You can do something. Do you know what I mean, guys? Like you can't do this on a shoestring when you work at a factory. Like what are you going to post? Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't work the same. So the Tates obviously looked at this. They started making a bit of money, and it was top personal income tax rates in Europe. And Romania is 10%, along with Bulgaria. It's the cheapest, followed by, I believe, Hungary. I think Hungary is next. It's not on here, but it is now. So they realized that some of the cheapest tax, well, the cheapest tax in Europe. That's not a mistake. They went over there on purpose to save money so that they could spend it on more cars, lifestyle, etc. It's very clever. And I'm not saying you guys should move to Romania tomorrow. But if you want good life setup, which leads to framing, which leads to a better life, you have to consider things like this. Now, Bucharest is the sixth largest city in the European Union. You can see here population 1.83 million, so it gives you some cachet. And you look at the cities that are bigger: London, Berlin, Madrid, Rome, Paris. They're major ones, right? Bucharest, they've done their research. They really understood what they were doing here. What they do, and this is a real strategy, this is something that's been done for years in places like Romania, is they take two guys over to somewhere like, let's say, Milan, and they go and rent a supercar. And you'll see in the Take Confidential thing, you can call, like, he called them up and was just like, I've taken it across border. And they were like, well, you shouldn't really do that. It's frowned upon. That's how easy it is, guys. So, right, two guys from Romania, 21 years old, 25 years old, if that's what it takes to go and get a supercar, will go over to Milan. They will go and rent a supercar, a Lamborghini, and they'll say, we want it for 2 days. Okay. One guy will drive through the day, the other guy will drive through the night. They get to the border, they'll pay to have it in. There's people who want extra, like the average the average wage in Romania is like £16,000 per year, right? People aren't on very good money, and back then it was probably a little bit less as well. People are desperate for money, and I can't remember what the DVLA is in the UK, and I don't know what it is in, I think it's the RAR in Romania. They, there's people who will just take fucking bribes. This is a well-known thing, and they will get to the border. They will just put it in a garage. They will spray paint the whole thing, change everything, change the number plates, go to the RAR, pay somebody, register those number plates. You've now got a supercar, maybe a Lamborghini, that is worth 250,000, that some 25-year-old Romanian kid is more than happy to sell for 25 grand, more than happy to take 30 grand cash for that thing. So I'm not encouraging you guys to do that, but I'm pretty sure the Tates knew about this model beforehand. I'm pretty sure they knew that this was all in place, and that is how they got 30 cars. I'm not encouraging you guys to go fucking stealing cars. I'm not encouraging you guys to go and buy illegal cars, not by any stretch of imagination, because both activities are illegal. But life is very fucking difficult, and you use what you can to your advantage. And I predicted on that podcast at the end, all of their cars will be seized, and all of their cars since have been seized, and they never got them back. And that's because every single one of those cars, whether they knew it or not, was stolen. You can get supercars out there for 20, 30,000. Now, that's how you get a 30 car collection. That's how they had this amazing life setup and framing. Now, can you guys do that? I don't know. I don't know what it means to you. I don't know what you do with that piece of information, but I just wanted you guys to know so that you can see how a lot of people out there are doing it. You know, if you're the guy who's online who wants to give off a certain image and whatnot, just know that there's rules to this game that they could be broken. There's ways around certain things, and the Tates were genius. I mean, they moved, as I said, to a tax haven. They moved to a place where you can get cars for like 30 grand cash. And you know, they've got this massive house which probably costs maximum, from what I've seen of research of that area, maybe like 2 million, something like that, which, you know, in London would probably get you a 2-bedroom house, 3-bedroom house, something like that. It's nothing crazy. So they've framed themselves as being, you know, billionaires, which I'm sure they've made a dent in to this day. I'm sure they've made a beeline towards that. But at the time when they first framed themselves as that, the average person in Bucharest was making £16,000 per year. Like, you can live a lavish lifestyle. You can get a lot more done. Now, I think there's a term for that. I think we call it balling on a budget, right? And they were managing to pull that off. So, knowing yourself and your environment, this is massive. Look at this. I always tell you guys, don't go and get yourself a green Lamborghini. Don't go and whatever. The one on the right, that's in like London or something like that. That looks like shit. I think you guys will agree. The one on the left with the correct lighting and the correct architecture, and the correct window tint and stuff like that, it actually looks really good. So you've got to know your environment. You've got to base yourself in the right place. Here's a perfect example. I've always said to you guys, Peaky Blinders would not work in the sun. Peaky Blinders could not work in the summer as well. This is Tommy Shelby, and this is Cillian Murphy in another movie. Obviously, it's the same guy, but like, you know, to think that it's the same guy is pretty crazy. Like, just some skinny, kind of bowl-cutted guy. I don't know. That doesn't really work. If Tommy Shelby had to put on shorts and walk down the beach and go, Arthur, listen to me. I'm going to kill this man. You'd be like, I can't take him seriously. This skinny little guy just on a beach walking down with sand in his toes. Like, it just doesn't work. So that's what I mean about knowing yourself, knowing your environment. Are you a skinny guy? Probably don't live somewhere really warm because you're going to have to take your shirt off all the time, you know? Jump over to here is my formula to conquering life setup and framing. So I've almost built this whole thing down here that I think for any guy right now will work a treat. Certain things that you can tap into that personally, guys, I'm revealing to you now. This is something that I might actually do over the next year. This is the aesthetic that I would chase. The aesthetic is so important. As you guys can see, now, I wouldn't have a white background. I would probably, you know, it would be at night or something like that. It would be at dusk. It would maybe be in front of here or something like that, or I'm getting out of a car like this. But this suits me. This doesn't have to be for you. You could be the jorts guy in Australia, but this suits me. This like old European architecture, you know, the lighting's perfect. I think I look best in this sort of lighting. I think these sort of locations, this is similar to London. That's why for me, London, Budapest. I've looked at McLaren's, Lamborghinis. I think I might be a bit tall, but this big, like the big Defender, the 110 Urban Defender, locations like this is where women want to go. Locations like this is where women want to go. This is where they want to see you taking photos here, here. I mean, this is perfect because you and a friend, a high-level friend, you're both dressed well, drinks on the table, or you and your beautiful woman, and that somebody takes a picture of you here, you're not looking at the camera, that would pop. That would absolutely bang. These are like 6 of my most iconic photos over the years. And I've thrown in the Tristan Tate one because I really like it in the top left, and I thought I'd have to have one from this kind of feed. But these the Dan Bilzerian one bottom right, the one above it, the guy with his legs crossed, Maroney, the James Bond one in black and white, and the one bottom left are I've spoken about these before. They're some of my most iconic photos. If this was your Instagram feed, right, where it's locations like this, maybe a car like that for somebody for like myself, yours might be different. It might suit you differently. Dressed like this, doing these sort of things, like this is how it all ties together. If you want to post your body, if you want to post gym stuff, the way that Daniel Craig's done this here is phenomenal. You know, he's got the shirt on, it's in black and white. You can see the guy shredded. It's like it just works perfectly. And somebody else is taking it. He's locked in. I mean, the Dan Bilzerian one works too because it's like he's not tensing, he's laughing, he's having a joke, and he's getting on with his life. It's very organic, and somebody else is taking the photo. That, guys, is the presentation. That is how you achieve life setup and framing. I hope we've covered enough areas, and I'll jump back over for questions.